This guy looked bewildered and fled. The Adidas Alliance's summons led to a Duke's vast territory like a maze, leaving everyone speechless. He hid in the bushes to contact the gospel, but found no signal. The old butler arrived with his dog, and Fred sped in on a motorcycle. This was Duke's turf. Escaping wasn't easy. Eventually, he was cornered by three near the lake. Fred pondered how to disappear him. Adidas stepped in and blocked his way, and this guy was terrified, silently praying, "I saw nothing, all right. Stop touching me." Our guy looked pitiful. Adidas claimed no harm, Fred eager to eliminate the witness. The guy shouted while Adidas calmly said he meant no harm. Fred, however, wanted him to vanish. Our guy noticed good signal, quickly advised them to chill, and discreetly sought help. But he was caught red-handed by the old butler, who demanded the phone. In a fit of rage, Fred chucked the phone into the lake, and they all hauled the guy back to the estate. Susan suggested not letting anyone in and sending the household staff home early. She promised to handle Tom's body and then locked our guy in a pot. Adidas wanted to wrap this up neatly and avoid more bodies. Susan pointed out he was a businessman, not the hitman. If not handled properly, it'll be messy. He warned Adidas Tom's brother was not a major drug lord in the Northwest. Susan had a professional team for the body. They arrived at Adidas with gear and drugs, conducted an investigation, and presented an expert plan. You require a highly professional plan to successfully convince the believers of the gospel. But at that very moment, Adidas cleverly came up with an even more professional strategy. He didn't want to eliminate our guy but aimed to send him abroad, concocting a story that he was the killer. Susan felt uneasy about it but reassured Adidas that they had to sort this out ASAP. To pull the wool over the gospel's eyes, Fred dressed up and shot a video. Shortly after filming, Fred got a call from the gospel and was so jittery he couldn't even bring himself to answer. Adidas warned Fred to act like nothing happened, even though he was a bundle of nerves inside. The gospel called asking about his brother's whereabouts, and Adidas calmly replied he'd be more than happy to host him. The gospel claimed they were quite familiar, and his ferocity had left a shadow in Fred's heart. The gospel asked about Tommy. Adidas said he left after payment, unaware of later events. The gospel showed Adidas a strange message, but he was like, "Beats me." The message was confusing. Gospel urgently asked Adidas, who stammered they fought over slow ordering. The gospel thought that really fit Tommy's personality, seeming to buy the explanation. But just as he was about to leave, that old mystic started acting all mysterious again. Back home, his mom told Adidas there was a gathering that night, and he had to attend. Adidas agreed, but wanted to grab his passport from our guy's place first. To his surprise, he ran into a watcher. Luckily, that dude was too busy jamming to notice Adidas at all. After snagging the passport, Adidas planned to sneak away but accidentally tripped over the speaker wire, locking eyes with the guy in a freeze-frame moment. The heavy-set dude glanced at the gun on the table, and while Adidas took him out, he ended up taking a bullet himself. He then called Susan's team to stage the scene while confirming the narrative that our guy was fleeing after murder. They showed up at the gathering, and the organizer was keen on buying Adidas' estate. He was a big-time buyer. Susan was around too, but she got knocked around quite a bit, while Adidas muttered to himself. He told Adidas John bought the estate for multiples of its price, all for business. Turns out John wanted to acquire Adidas' estate to partner with Susan, but she shot down his proposal without a second thought. After the gathering, Susan escorted Adidas home and even took care of his wound. Adidas thought Susan would stay to care for him, but she firmly stated they were just business partners. The gospel rushed to find Adidas, claiming he had found the killer. He also found Fred's video on Tommy's phone and brought Fred's shotgun with him. Who knows how that shotgun ended up with our guy? Adidas could only say they often forgot to lock the gun cabinet. Feeling uneasy, he took the shotgun, vowing to track down our guy. After the gospel left, Fred sighed in relief. Too much had happened lately. He just wanted to live a quieter life. Adidas handed our guy $2 million in cash by the riverside and threw him on a smuggling boat bound for Australia. However, this would plant a huge problem for the future, and Susan could absolutely not tolerate that. As the boat passed under London Bridge, a big-bearded guy beckoned him into the cabin. From the look in his eyes, it seemed fate had already sealed his doom. This trouble seemed to have been elegantly resolved, but the seeds of disagreement were sown between Adidas and Susan at this moment. Our guy was just a prisoner, yet he was living like royalty in prison. This prison was basically a royal resort, with steaks that were fresh-cooked beef served daily. There was even a private Japanese chef. He looked at the steak on the table and exclaimed, "What a fantastic marbling." The old man told Adidas his customized prison has a golf course, Nordic sauna, and natural pool. "I don't plan on going out anytime soon. I'll leave business outside to my daughter Susan." Looking at the old man's setup, Adidas felt awestruck. This kind of luxury was beyond imagination. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you in the next episode.